Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Sunday, October 6th. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development. 3 stakes on the Sunday card, and we'll take a look at those, plus the late pick 4. And just a reminder that we are finally going to get some rain at some point on Sunday, so if it comes early, keep an eye on how it might impact the track getting some water for the first time in a long time. Although, if I remember I've talked to, they've watered the turf course, so it's far from being especially hard, but still, a lot of rain could make for a little bit of a change. So just urge folks to keep an eye out on that. Jim, let's start with the Indian Summer Stakes. It's ungraded. Probably that will change before long, but it is a Breeders' Cup win and you're in. 5.5 furlongs for 2-year-olds on the turf, prepping for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. Pretty big favorite in there, I would think, in Kamari from the Wesley Ward barn, although there's a highly regarded Pletcher horse, too. What do you think about the Indian Summer?
Yeah, I thought Kamari was going to be a big favorite here. I think that she'll be less than 5-2, maybe 9-5, something like that. Mike Smith comes in to ride for Wesley, and this filly broke her maiden here in the spring by 15 lengths and ran a 51 flat, 4.5 furlongs, and that was just warming up because she went over to Ascot and finished second in a 25-horse field in the Queen Mary Stakes, and came back and won the Bolton's Landing at Saratoga easily. So she looks like a handful in here. Numbers didn't come back that well on the Saratoga race compared to some of the others, but Old Chestnut, for example, is coming out of Woodbine with an 80 buyer in the last couple races. One theory would be if you like to pick 4 here, you single Kamari and then spread later, but I've got a single later on in the sequence, so I'm going to take Kamari for the win bet, and I'm going to play her with Mystic Lancelot the 3 and the 9 Chimney Rock. One of my theories in early Keeneland races, and we talked about it before we started recording, is if you have Jose Ortiz or Javier Castellano on a horse, you better put them into your pick 4, because they are the real deal. They are great riders from New York. They're hot right now, and on opening day, I left out an Ortiz horse and cost me a pick 5. So I won't leave out Chimney Rock. I think she probably doesn't fit here on numbers, but Ortiz is so tough, I'm going to put her in there. So we'll go 4 deep in the pick 4, but Kamari is a fairly strong win pick for me if I play inside the race, and I'm going to throw Chimney Rock in there for a price for second.
I am going to use the same ones you're talking about. I like Kamari a lot. I think the speed's a big plus. And then Mike Smith coming in to take the ride on this horse is noteworthy, thinking, this is a Breeders' Cup win and you're in. So it looks like his agent maybe has found a good spot to get a nice Breeders' Cup check, perhaps, with Kamari. So I like Kamari. Going to single Kamari when we get to the pick 4. But Chimney Rock was the price horse that I thought had a shot in here as well. Looks like it really woke up in the last 2 starts. Actually had in the day, he won up at Saratoga, and then he came back next start and had a little bit of trouble. So I think he's certainly improving. And then Mystic Lancelot was very impressive in the debut win, and then hit the gate at the start in the Grade 1 Summer Stakes at Canada, so you can certainly forgive that effort. But I like Kamari a lot. Grade 3 Dixiana Bourbon is 2-year-olds going long, 1/16 on the turf. And I end up taking Field Pass here. This is a 14-horse field, so I'm looking for a little bit of value. And this horse has 4 starts, which I like that little bit of additional experience. You mentioned Jose Ortiz. He picks up the mount on this horse for the first time, so that caught my eye. And then this horse had some trouble last time out. Was beaten by Fighting CB up at Saratoga, but that horse just got an easy lead, and I think Field Pass might be able to turn the tables, but Fighting CB's definitely in the mix for me. Art Collector, I think, is a horse that looked really impressive in winning down at Kentucky Downs. The horse that he beat is in earlier on the card in the 4th race, Duke of Carthania. So see how that horse runs in that race, and it might improve your thinking on Art Collector or not. And then Vitology I liked for Brendan Walsh. I don't like the post position all the way on the outside, but was 3rd in a Grade 1 up at Woodbine in the Summer Stakes, and so that's strong form. And if this horse can work out a trip, certainly could be dangerous as well. So I would certainly take a look at all of those and probably more in the pick 4. Who do you like?
We didn't talk about this, but I like the same horses you do. I like a couple more in here as well, but Field Pass is you got to use him with Ortiz and Maker, and the post positions. If Vitology didn't draw the 14 hole, I'd like him off that summer stakes race at Woodbine. Called a yielding turf course, which he probably was okay with because he'd raced on good turf courses in Great Britain and Ireland. But he ran big at the end. He was on the inside there, and I don't know how he'll react to the 14 hole at a mile and 16. That's not ideal here at all. Our collector same way with a 12 hole, but I like Joe Sharp. This horse came back at Kentucky Downs and won by a length and a quarter after a good start at Saratoga, but Kentucky Downs is a tough course to win. I think our collector's got a big shot. I think one that you didn't mention is Peace Achieved, the 10 horse coming out of the juvenile Kentucky Downs, won a $500,000 race down there. So Mark Cassey and Miguel Mena. Fighting CB, the 5, came out of there with anticipation at Saratoga and won that race. And Kenny McPeak is very good with 2-year-olds. So this horse, if he takes another step up, he's got a shot. And I think the other horse, I'm using both Vitology and Art Collector. So I'm going to go 5 deep there. I think Field Pass might be my win bet. I think 6-1 is a good price on that horse coming out of the Laurel race, and gets Ortiz and Mike Maker. But I also Peace Achieved at that Kentucky Down race I like a lot too. So I'm going to go 5 deep in the pick 4. We'll get to that.
Let's go to the Grade 1 Juddmonte Spinster next. Only 5 in here, but this race has, from the beginning of the Breeders' Cup, has often had an impact on the Breeders' Cup, and Elate is being talked about as a possible entrant in the Classic because of her preference for a mile and a quarter if she runs big in here. So you could theoretically have a distaff winner and a Classic winner coming out of this race with only 5 horses. Who do you like?
Yeah, I like Elate. I loved her in New York, and she got beat by Midnight Basoo at a mile and an eighth. I'm thinking she's better than Midnight Basoo at a mile and a quarter, so I think that's why they're talking about the Classic and avoiding her the mile and eighth distaff distance in the Breeders' Cup. I love Elate. I think she gives it everything she's got every time. Ortiz takes it back for Belmont. He's the only horse that's been on her since she broke her maiden, I think. So I'm going to go with her here, and I'm going to single her, although there are 4 Grade 1 winners in this race. We thought this race was going to draw 8 or 9, and 3 of them backed out because they looked at Blue Prize, the defending champion. They looked at Dunbar Road coming in for Chad Brown off the Alabama win. And how can you not like her? The last 3 races she's won by a total of 10 lengths. So she's going to be tough. And then She's a Julie is a Grade 1 winner as well. But I think Elate, drawn well in the 5 hole, going to be able to track the speed, and I just think she's the classiest filly in here, and I would love to see her go in the Classic. I think it's a good time for a filly to try the Classic with the way the 3-year-old group is this year, and there's no older horse that I think would scare her off. So I think Elate wins it on her way possibly to the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah, I think Elate, I couldn't get to anybody else in here. I won't single her, but I came close. The only thing that really kept me from singling her is Dunbar Road is a 3-year-old and is only about a half length away from being undefeated. And 3-year-olds that are on the improve can jump up speed figure wise. So I think Dunbar Road from the Chad Brown Barnes, the only one I think I could see beating Elate. I did talk to Jack Sisterson, who trains Vexatious, and they were really high on how she's doing anyway. And she's 12-1, so that could get you a little bit of some value in Exacta if she could get second. With five horses, none of them really are confirmed front runners. It looks like on form, She's a Julie probably could have an easy lead if she wants it, and I suspect she'll be on the front end. But when you have a small field with an uncertain pace scenario, that sometimes can throw big favorites a curve. So that might be the only thing that could get a late beat in here. The late pick 4 starts in the 7th with the Indian Summer. So, Jim, take me through your pick 4 ticket, the last race being a non-winners of 1 allowance going 6.5 on the main.
Okay. Pick 4 ticket, first leg of the Indian Summer, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 9 with Kamari, the 2-horse, being my top pick. And if you don't like my picks later on, you could do a lot worse than singling Kamari in here. I'm just trying to cover because I'm going to single it late, and so the ticket's fairly affordable. Dixiana Bourbon, I'm going to go 5, 6, 10, 12, 14, using Fighting CB, Field Pass, Peace Achieved, Art Collector, and Batology. So 5, 6, 10, 12, 14, 5 deep there. Singling the 5, Elate in the Spinster. I'm going to let you use as many as you want to in the last race. I really could. I could only eliminate 3 horses here. And when I can only do that, I'm going to go all. It's going to be a $100 ticket with all 10 horses in the last leg. But if you get through Elate, you got a real good shot at hitting it. I could only eliminate Believe in Victory, the 1, Wild Moment, Letters to Bell, the 7, and Destiny's Darling, the 9. Those 3 horses I don't think can win, but if I'm going to use 7 of them and spend $70, you can bet that I'm going to go ahead and take the all button and do 100, because I think that's where you're going to get a price in here. So 1, 2, 3, 9 with 5, 6, 10, 12, 14, with 5 with all $100.
I ended up singling Kamari, and then I hit the all button in the Bourbon with that big 14-horse field. Going to take them all there because I didn't really have a real strong opinion. Elate and Dunbar Road, so 1 and 5 and 1 there in the Spinster. And then in the last leg, I like Halawala a good bit in there, so I'm going to use that one, the 10, and also the 8, 5, and 2 Fun Finder Grandeza, who I think could jump up and run a much improved race. Getting Castellano, Dallas Stewart those two don't hook up often, so I thought that I took note of that. And the 2 Summer Delivery, so I'm going to use those 4 in the last leg. So 2 with all, with 1, 5, with 2, 5, 8, 10 in my pick 4. That'll wrap up the opening weekend of the Keeneland Fall Meet, and then we'll be back on Wednesday to continue our daily editions of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.